Do you know what we're here for? You know we're here about
just
AG.
I don't think you know what you're here for.
Well, you the one talking about.
I think your fake eyelashes are messing up.
No,
what you're
ain't
reading.
nothing.
Hold on.
Listen.
Order.
Mr. Chairman,
That's beneath even
order.
Now the chair recognizes Ms. Green for 4 minutes and 21 seconds.
Mr. Chair, point of order.
Who's
It's me.
Ms. Crockett?
I'm just curious, just to better understand your ruling. If someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body, that would not be engaging in personalities, correct?
What now?
Chairman, I make a motion to strike those words.
I don't think that's
Hold on.
I'm trying to find clarification on what quality.
Chairman, motion to strike those
I had no idea
words.
what you just said.
We're not gonna do this. Look, you guys earlier literally just said
You just voted to do it.
Y'all did it first, so you don't want to talk about it.
Voted to do it.
Order.
I'm trying to get clarification.
Look at calm down.
No, because this is what y'all do.
Proceeding.
So I'm trying
Hey,
to get
Ms.
clarification.
Crockett, you're not
Y'all wanna
recognized.
play
Ms.
games?
Crockett.
I can't hear you with you
And
yelling.
You don't want
calm
me to
down.
Be,
Can you please calm down?
Don't tell me to calm down.
Calm down.
Because y'all
Please
talk
calm
noise
down.
and then you
You're
can't
out of
take
control.
Because if I
Look,
come,
Chairman,
if I
can we
come
send
and talk
outside to
shit
take a
about
break
her,
for 5
y'all
minutes?
gonna have a
Mr.
problem.
Mr. Chairman.
All right, Chair.
I don't know why
Okay.
you're
Order.
acting
Chair
like
now
that.
recognizes
Not cute.
Ms. Green for 4.
Bleach blonde, bad built, butch body is what she said. So you guys just watched a fiery exchange, debate, or clash, argument, whatever you want to call it. This is the House Oversight and Accountability Committee and is made up of representatives of Congress. And you guys can see my girl, Jasmine Crockett. I love Jasmine Crockett because she has the confidence to say exactly what needs to be said. And I just like her stance on a lot of different topics. So I'm not heavily into the politics at all. I just, like everyone else, have seen social media clips and I like her confidence. And in this was having the confidence to defend yourself after someone attacks you and the ability to stay humble. She's not only confident and has the ability to speak her mind, she also is for the people. And let's check this interview out with the Breakfast Club so you can see what I mean.
I'm over it.
Dang.
It's only been what? Has it been 30 days yet?
I think it has.
This fool is driving me crazy.
Do you eat, sleep, and shit this though? Like, do you mean like, do you never like just turn the TV off, like everything? Like, you know what? I don't want to think about it. I don't want to do nothing.
So as much as I don't want to think about it, I definitely stopped watching the news as much as I used to. But people are like DMing me. They're sending me emails. We're constantly getting phone calls. So no, I don't turn off.
Is there anything good that this administration has done so far? Anything that you can say, well, at least that's a good thing?
Huh?
Pause. So, has the Trump administration done anything good? Drop them in the comments. Again, I'm not on one side or the other, but I like to see who's in the comments. Let me know if the Trump administration has done anything good in your opinion or bad. Let me know.
Okay.
Not nothing. I saw Bernie Sanders post yesterday about he likes what Trump is attempting to do with the Pentagon by auditing them and stuff like that.
Okay, attempting. Let's see it happen. Here's the reality. I serve on the Oversight Committee. That's where all the drama typically happens. And we've had Department of Defense come before us a number of times. The vast majority of the waste, fraud, and abuse that we have in this country is Department of Defense. You can Google and find out that at some point in time we were spending like $1,000 per toilet or something. So like that's where we see these inflated costs. That's where we have a lot of contractors. That's where they play a lot of games. That's where Elon gets the vast majority of his money is out of defense. And when they come before us and we ask them about their audit, they haven't had a clean audit in the last 6 times we've asked for an audit. So the fact that they're going to start with people that are getting $6 a day to eat, or they want to go after the little old lady that's just trying to get her little health care and they believe that that's where the savings is, that's not where the savings is, nor is it going after career civil servants and saying, oh, let me take your coins, let me take your job. Because when we add up, even if we fired everybody that works for the federal government It's only maybe 4 or 5% of our budget, but approximately 50% of our discretionary budget is defense, and they can't pass an audit. So why we didn't start there, where Elon has decided that he was going to get 2 new contracts just in 2 weeks, one for $400 million to Tesla, another for a little over $300 million to SpaceX. I don't know why we didn't start there, but it seems like we could find a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse because, again, they've not been able to pass an audit. Don't want you to pay attention to the over 99% of the budget where, yes, I would say most of the waste, fraud, and abuse is actually still at the hands of somebody like Elon Musk, like these bootleg trucks that he decided that he was going to sell the federal government, I think maybe at $100,000. I don't know what the price is per truck or whatever, but he's selling these trucks at the same time that he's getting rid of all the people that were conducting investigations over him about Tesla, investigations about SpaceX. He got rid of all those people. And even in that interview that Trump just did, he's like asked by Fox News of all places, right? He's asked, well, who's going to oversee Elon and make sure his conflicts are good? He's like, oh, Elon is.
So let's pause it. What do you think about what Elon Musk is doing in the U.S.? He is the president's quote unquote right hand man, right? And he is attempting to clean up the overspending and find where people have been getting over. Do you think he's doing a good job at that? Let me know in the comments.
Elon gonna go oversee
I'm
Elon.
wait a minute now. Because I got a whole body of people that's over me. I don't just get to decide what is right and wrong. And honestly, I'm not allowed to take any money. I have to live a very poor life right now, right?
And you could be getting paid.
I could be getting paid. I made more money before. I will make more money after. But right now, I am living not in the overflow. No, I mean,
that ain't what the internet don't say, Jasmine. The internet say you got houses and you work $8 million.
Listen, no. I had to shut them down because first they said that I had a husband. No husband, y'all. First they said I had a husband, and they said that I was paying him $500,000 to keep me safe. And people were like, he should be doing that for free. And I was like, I don't know if y'all mix up the black girls or if y'all just think every black girl that comes to Congress brings a husband who has to live off. That's not what it is. Okay.
Right.
No husband, never been married, never been engaged. All right. That's number one. So then they said, well, she's worth $9 million and she's got all these homes. Let me tell you something. When I first got to Congress about 2 weeks in, there was a case that I had been working for 7 years. It was a civil rights case, one of my last 2 civil rights cases, and I still got one pending. So just so y'all know, if I got to resign, I'm going to resign. But nevertheless, it goes to trial. I'm unable to participate because I'm not supposed to be, but I'm in this wind down period. It actually hits for about $22 million, all right? So ethics says you can't collect your attorney's fee on that at all. Now, mind you, I worked this case before I ever ran for Congress, right? So that gives you an idea of how far they go when it comes to the no, but here's the deal. I would have resigned and I will resign. No, I'm not finna play with my money. Y'all tripping because I worked on that case for 7 years.
Yep.
It was against a very small city that literally can't pay it. Now, if for some reason they go find the coins, then absolutely, I'm resigning, forcing a special election, and I'll win, right? But I do have another one that is pending, and it's pending against the city of Dallas. And the officer in that case actually pled guilty. If the city of Dallas does pay up, you heard it here first. I am resigning, and it will be a 7-figure payday for me because as an attorney, we do have cases that hit for millions of dollars. It's not really that odd. The thing is that I've always been a bleeding heart liberal. I have. So I was doing more criminal defense than anything. I wasn't really doing a lot of the big $1 million cases unless I was helping out the homies. I've got plenty of cases where I've gone into court, help homies get 7-figure results, but that never was me. I just wanted to be comfortable, and now I got deal with Congress.
So you said you can resign and then run again. You said. Is that what you said? Okay.
I'm gonna collect my check.
Resign, get that money. Then
Yeah.
Because there's mad billionaires in Congress.
That part.
Yeah.
And they only got upset about this lie. I'm like, first of all, why y'all mad? If this was true, why is this a problem? It's a problem just because I'm a black woman for most of them, right? Because they still not mad that Elon literally made another 100 and something billion dollars since the election. Y'all not mad at this African man?
So hold on. Let's pause for a moment. You guys just heard on the Breakfast Club that Jasmine says she would retire or resign if one of her cases hit. So you guys can tell she's very educated, and she was a lawyer before she was a congresswoman, right? So if one of her cases hit, she could get millions, because right now she has a government salary that isn't that big. You guys can Google it. I don't even think it's over like 200K. I think it's like one something, maybe 170. But anyway, her salary is small compared to what she could get as a lawyer. So that's why she says she made more money before and she'll make more money after. But right now, because she's living in her purpose and, you know, she has a good heart, she wants to be for the people. That is definitely admirable. But as you guys heard, she could very well retire if or when one of her cases comes through, because she said they already pleaded guilty. So if you see her resign, we would definitely hate to see her go, because she has been very, very, very entertaining. And it even made me start to look to see like what's going on in the government after watching a lot of her clips, because I do like how she presents herself and how she has the courage to speak her mind. Let's continue with the interview.
Right. He is doing better in his approvals than
It's
he
people like
typically.
us that, like a lot of black people
You don't mean literally.
fighting
Like, you mean it
for it.
literally.
No, I think she does, because you know they put out a poll, and I think his approval rating was 53%.
Yeah,
She's
that's
talking about black people though, right?
Yeah, I'm talking
Okay.
about us. Like, there's so many of us like that.
Yeah, I
that be
can't
fighting
explain
for
it.
this man.
I can't explain it. I have no explanations. The only thing that I can say is that number one, I'm happy to know that Trump is an anomaly. People continue to try to be the next Trump. They are not, right? Like we've seen it with this. They can only lose one. Right now, I don't see how they get it passed. But we'll see. They can get it past the Senate.
Go.
I don't see how they get it past the House.
Why do you think people still love him so much? And I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like us. Like, why are there some of us that still favor him? Like, why is he still so, like he has such a high approval rate? Trump.
I don't know that. Well, I ain't gonna say he got a high approval rate. He is doing better in his approvals than
It's
he
people like
typically.
us that like a lot of black people
You don't mean literally.
fighting
Like, you mean it
for
literally.
it.
No, I think she does, because you know they put out a poll, and I think his approval rating was 53%.
Yeah,
She's
that's
talking about black people though, right?
Yeah, I'm talking
Okay.
about us. Like, there's so many of us like that.
yeah. I
that be
can't
fighting
explain
for
it.
this man.
I can't explain it. I have no explanations. The only thing that I can say is that number one, I'm happy to know that Trump is an anomaly. People continue to try to be the next Trump. They are not, right? Like we've seen it with DeSantis. He's not. We've seen it with Vivek Ramaswamy. He's not. Elon Musk, his numbers continue to drag him down, right? For whatever reason, Elon's numbers go down and Trump's still kind of linger about the same or go a little bit higher. I will say that there is a cultural aspect to Trump that is unique and unlike anything we've ever experienced. And I think that was another failure that we had in the campaign overall, is to understand that he's different. He's different. This is a guy who's had his name on buildings forever.
That's right.
And people have been like, oh, he owned it. Not really. His name is just on it, right? And so he's very good at creating this perception. He's created this perception of I am that guy, right? And he literally became the closest thing to Teflon Don that we have seen, right? Like, who has this many cases in this many jurisdictions?
He's more Teflon.
And yeah, I know.
Because of presidential immunity.
I get it. Yeah, I get it. But I'm just saying. So I think that from a cultural aspect, like he used to be talked about in rap songs and things like that, I think it's hard for you to then say, oh no, he's a terrible person. Because there's been this kind of aura around him that was created, which may have been okay for TV, may have been okay for music, may have been okay for casinos, but it ain't okay in the Oval Office. Like, I need y'all to separate the two. Like, like I don't need it to be that everybody that kind of walks in that lane is now somehow qualified to be president of the United States, because that's it takes different qualities. And I think that that's why it's been so hard to kind of tear him down, is because he's different. I don't think these people are necessarily Republicans. I don't think they're necessarily going over to that side. I don't think they're necessarily MAGA. I think that they are just Trumpers, like, period. And I think MAGA is supposed to be a movement, but I believe that once he is out of the, like, way, right? Like, once he's out of the presidency, if he leaves, Jesus, because he decided he a king now. But if he leaves the presidency, I don't see anybody else being able to take up the mantle. He already said J.D. Vance ain't the one.
Yep.
Like, I mean, there's nobody else that will be able to take up that mantle because he is unique.
All right, so I wanna weigh in on this just a little bit. I know we're talking about being courageous and, you know, standing for whatever you believe in, and they was wondering why Trump is so popular. I'm not a Trump supporter, right? But it's because of those exact things. Trump doesn't care. He says what he feels, and he acts on the things that he feels is right. So a lot of people like that factor in a leader. I would say Trump don't give a f. I would say Trump is one of the most gangster presidents we ever had. He actually has cases, and he's still sitting where he's sitting. And again, people thought like maybe Obama, the first black man, might be gangster or bring some hood to the Oval Office. No, it was Trump. Trump supporters actually raid places for him. He is, you know, again, one of the most gangster presidents that we have seen, you know, and that is why people like him. You know, Americans, we like people to be, you know, assertive, and they act like they don't care. That's us. That's the definition of an American. We ask other countries. We just don't care, right? Americans just don't care. We lavish, got a lot of money, and, you know, we just don't care. It's Trump all day. That is Trump all day. So that is why I think some people actually gravitate towards Trump. As she said, you got rap songs about him. He's in the movies, and it's just, I would say he does say a lot of racist stuff. And like I said, I'm not a Trump supporter just because of some of the things he says. I'm big on words. I like people that actually articulate themselves and know what they're talking about, especially when you're talking about a government official. That's why someone like Obama was like, even if Obama was a white guy, the way he spoke and the way he can move a crowd, and, you know, he just knew what he was talking about. You could tell he was one of the smarter guys in the room just by how he carried himself and talked. And they say that's how Bill Clinton was too when he was a president. Those type of people, they got my vote every time. For example, if Jasmine ever ran, she would have my vote every time, every single time. But that's what I think people love President Trump.
Well, child, what is on your shirt right there?
Say, I love the hoodie.
What is on your shirt? Break down what's on your shirt, child.
Yes. So we dropped the child collection.
The child collection.
After Nancy Mace acted like she wanted to take me outside.
Yep. So let's pause it for a minute. I got the clip of that. So we're going to pause this for a minute and then go to the clip that she's referring to. For those that haven't seen it and aren't keeping up, let's take a look at this clip.
I don't even know how we got there, because I tried to make it clear how many civil rights, it doesn't just boil down to one conversation, but I can see that somebody's campaign coffers really are struggling right now. So she gonna keep saying trans, so that people will feel threatened. And child, listen, I want y'all to tell me whether or
Do
not.
not call me a child. I am no child.
I want
Don't
to
even
find
start.
out
I am a grown
which
woman.
of those
I am 47 years
emails
old. I have broken
actually
more
have.
glass ceilings than you
Chairman,
ever
I
will.
am
Order, please.
reclaiming my
Let's go.
time.
You will not do that. I am not a
Chairman,
child.
I am reclaiming my time.
If you want to take it outside, outside.
Mr. Chairman, the committee is not
Okay,
in
all
order.
right. Order.
Point of order. Point of order.
Order. Chair recognizes Ms. Crockett.
No, point of order, Mr. Chairman.
State your point.
Is it allowed in the rules for a member to incite violence against another member? I mean, she said she wants to take it outside with.
Hey, I have the First Amendment right too,
And
young
so
man.
I'd like those words to be taken down. I am moving to have those words taken down. I believe it's against the rules.
Going outside doesn't incite violence.
Another
You can have a conversation that isn't.
The committee will
interrupting this
suspend. The member will state the words he wishes taken down.
Where she said that we can take it outside.
So that was just a quick clip of some more drama that was going on with this committee. As she said, that's what all the drama is. And in this, she said, child. And everybody knows that's just slang for how some people talk. If we want to be technical about what the word child means, if I hit child on Google right now, and what does the slang word child mean? It says phonics is spelled like child, but often used as affectionate or friendly way of addressing someone, similar to honey, sweetheart, things of that nature. Somebody like sweetheart, chill out. Honey, chill out. Baby girl, chill out. Child, you know. But of course, you know, we talking about Congress, and it's a bunch of people that don't look like us. So, yeah, they don't understand all those phonics, and she took it. They don't understand all of that type of slang, so she took it as an offense, which okay. So that's what she's talking about when she's saying she has the child collection. All right, let's get back to it.
So
she wanted 5 minutes with you.
I don't have time.
We got to jump her. You can't you can't shoot her fair one.
You can't talk about jumping up.
I'm just joking.
All right, you joke until they pull your ass over. You don't. You ice, baby. You don't want to. You sit right there.
I am an American citizen and I'm black.
What was going through your mind when she asked you? Well, I'd like to take this outside.
Well,
now, you know she graduated from the man military school.
I don't care.
The man military.
She was the first woman to graduate from the Citadel, which is an all-male military school.
Yeah, right. So DEI helped her. Just FYI. Okay. Because it didn't exist, and there were people that did not want a woman in the institution, but her father actually taught at the institution, and so she wanted to be just like her dad, and so they sued. They went to the courts so that she could get in as a woman, and now she is the very same woman that wants to do like a bunch of the same immigrants that somehow get over here, get their citizenship, and then they like, forget everybody else coming behind me. She is the same. And so she claims that she's been a champion for women, and that's why she's against trans people, but she forgets that she benefited from diversity, equity, and inclusion like most white women, because white women are the vast majority of the beneficiaries of DEI policies. But that's a whole other issue. But when she said, let's take it outside, you know, I really want to be like, let's go. Now, I knew that I couldn't. Because again, they would have been trying to expel me.
Yeah.
And if the tables were turned, if I had said that to her, the Karen would have been calling everybody to come through and come grab me, and they would have had me on the floor for an expulsion for trying to incite violence against another member of Congress, literally in a committee hearing. But instead, they said, well, maybe she meant go outside for coffee.
I do be thinking that though.
The chair's going to make a rule. What the gentlelady said was, we can take this outside if you want. And
so
that could mean you could go outside and have a cup of coffee or perhaps a beer, or, you know, I mean, we have lots of conversations outside.
That's what they said.
I be thinking that these people are so old and so culturally clueless that they don't understand.
No. He was laughing when he did it. No.
Because even when you did your Bad Bill Bush bodies, the guy was like, what? What happened?
It's the same guy.
And
it's the same guy.
Even you saying child, Nancy was like,
I am not a child.
Right?
I'm not
Okay,
a child.
Now, I do think that she is culturally unaware, even though she's always bragging about how many black people she represents in her district in South Carolina. Black people in South Carolina, wake up! Get rid of her.
We went to high school together.
That's y'all homie.
She's anyway, I'm not gonna cuss.
You said she need to be
But
worried about the economy down there.
She does, because South Carolina about to catch it. Just like all these other
all of the red states.
All of them.
Yeah.
They about to catch it the hardest. Like, you think you're, quote unquote, owning the libs, but guess what? New York has money, okay? Guess what? California has money, right? The ones that are broke and need the money that New York and California pay into is you little red states down south, the vast majority of y'all. Y'all are the ones that are broke, and y'all are the ones that are constantly bleeding population as well, right? Like, we know that these small states, like, people are moving to the big cities, which tend to be in the bluer states, right? Where there are more opportunities. So, but Nancy, she now wants to run for
she wanted to take it outside because they going through all of that.
No, she just wants to try to elevate her name and her status. So she's allegedly talking about running for governor
in 2026.
Don't do it. Don't do it, South Carolina.
I do want to ask you this, because I know you got to go. Why don't Democrats sit down Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries? They all represent an old way of doing things that don't work anymore. People like yourself, AOC, y'all know how to communicate. Y'all know how to message. Why don't they let y'all be front-facing in the party? What are they holding on to? I know their positions, but forget the position. If they're not connecting with people, why are they the ones that are out front but not y'all?
What do you mean out front? I think you're referencing myself and AOC because we have been out front.
No, definitely. But when they talk about actual Democratic leadership and who the leaders are,
that's a matter
they always point to them because of the position that they're in.
Yeah.
But to me, that's just a position.
I get it. And both of us ran for leadership positions and we were rejected by our
But that's because
colleagues.
of those old,
that's
because of those people who represent an old way of doing things.
I get it.
If they open their eyes and actually see what's going on in the world and who's connecting, who can lead us into the next generation, clearly it should be you and people like AOC in leadership positions.
I get it. I will say that Hakeem decided that I can't speak for the Senate because I don't know what all is going on over there. But Hakeem decided to start a rapid response team, which is something that I proposed when I was running to become our communications director. And so I am a part of that rapid response team. And so it's just now starting to kind of take shape. And so basically my job is to officially kind of get out there and do some videos. I'm really supposed to do some lives with some other people that are on that rapid response team so that like when things happen in real time, we're responding. But another thing, I mean, there's just a lot that we could be doing, and I'm hoping that we get a lot more aggressive, right? Because I think
you are. I don't like when you lump yourself with them.
Well,
Hakeem them need to get more aggressive.
Well, I'll say
they be on some sucky shit.
Well, I'll say is that, like, for instance, there's been this kind of attitude of, well, we can't deal with all the stuff that he got coming out. Like, we not gonna be able to. And I get that to a certain extent, but I do think that at a very minimum, it provides some semblance of comfort and confidence for the American people when they see us pushing back every single day.
That's right.
And it may not be every single thing that he does in a day, but pushing back on like the thing of the day, right? Like we literally need to be like, okay, so this is the dumb thing for the day, right? Like just a little, even if it's 5 minutes, like this the big one for the day, right? And we go after it. And so I think that we do have to get more aggressive and decide every single day, like this is just what it is. Like I told my staff, I'm like, y'all had it good last term. I know y'all thought y'all didn't, but I'm like, we actually now have to work 10 times harder than we did before because we've got to make sure people understand how bad these policies are and what's happening. If we don't communicate it in real time, then we're doomed. That was the problem even when we were trying to get the White House back, is that we did not communicate in real time the good things we were doing. Okay. Now they're like, oh, wait a minute. So the overdraft fees, that was Joe Biden that reduced it so it wasn't more than $5 per overdraft. Rich people, or is the people live the Democrat that wants to
know that.
All right.
I just wanted, Chuck Schumer could never speak the way he just spoke. I want you to know that.
Thank you, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett.
Because again, we're seeing a government that wants to prey on those that are struggling so that others at the top can benefit to some ridiculous amount of money. And that's what we're about to go through. So I'm just like, listen, if you were broke and thought he was your guy, well, God bless you.
All right.
Hakeem Jeffries could never talk like that. I just want you to know that.
All right.
Chuck Schumer could never speak the way you just spoke. I just want you to know that.
Thank you, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. We appreciate you.
We appreciate your service.
I appreciate y'all.
So I agree right there with Charlamagne saying she is an awesome speaker. You can tell she speaks with passion and she stands for whatever she speaks for. You can tell it's coming from a place of the heart. So again, the topic of this video is having the ability to speak your mind, speak it with courage, and stand for something. That is the definition of Jasmine Crockett. And I want to show you guys one more clip of one of her most recent committee meetings.
Thank the chairman. I now recognize the ranking member of the subcommittee, Jasmine Crockett.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. And I first just want to begin with a news alert. Guess what? Joe Biden is not the president anymore. So maybe we can move on. Maybe we can move into the present because it seems like we are living in the past. And listen, these are not the good old days, you know, like you used to sit around and your grandparents would talk to you about what used to happen. What we need to be talking about is how we are going to legislate, because I think that some of my colleagues have confused what our jobs are. And I get that we're sitting in judiciary. And so it may seem as if we are here to be litigators, but we are here to be legislators, which means that we are supposed to be writing laws, not trying to have our own trials and determine whether or not something is true or not, or whatever the case is, or who should be sued, who shouldn't be sued. All I know is that a great American hero, a good senator out of New Jersey, said something to the effect yesterday as he was shattering the record for holding the floor, a record that had been held by another racist in this country. As he shattered that, he said something about the fact that this should not be about left versus right. It should be about right versus wrong. And I am going to tell you that I want us to focus on right versus wrong. The reason that we are struggling right now in this country as it relates to people not trusting agencies, honestly, a lot of it is because of elected leaders. Let me tell you, one of the things that the chairman and I actually agree upon, we don't agree on a lot, is that we both know that there has been a sharp incline as it relates to threats upon our lives. Regardless of what side of the aisle you sit on, we both know and agree that as sitting members of Congress, we both are enduring more death threats than anybody should in this country. And I believe that it is because of the divisive rhetoric and it is because of the selective enforcement of things. And so when we have, and I'm gonna be clear because I had remarks and I'm going a whole other way. To have the sitting attorney general go on, and I'm gonna call it faux news. I know some of y'all love it, but it's fake to me. To have her go on Fox News and to then decide that she wanted to send a threat to me, it was wrong. Because here it is, she is the highest law enforcement agent in this country, and people are watching and they are consuming this information and they are believing that simply because I decided that I wanted to exercise my right to free speech, which I am not abridged from doing, that she then wanted to then politicize something that should not be politicized. I don't like Elon Musk. I'm gonna say it 50,000 times. I don't like him. I don't like that he going out there and he firing people. I think that he's a crook because somehow the rest of us can't sit around and get whatever federal contracts we want. The rest of us can't sit around and get law enforcement and get them somehow ordained as federal law enforcement to protect him. The rest of us can't get our dealerships protected by the federal government. That is somebody that is operating above the law. For whatever reason, just because he has a lot of money, more money than everybody else. And yes, I am happy to see that on my birthday, which is what I said, there were peaceful protests around this world against him because he is a problem.
And so you never should have somebody that is sitting that high and is going to sit up here and threaten a sitting member of Congress when she knew good and well, if she watched the entire thing, that I specifically told protesters to make sure you consult with lawyers, just like I've told protesters over and over and over in the history of me advising people to go out and exercise their constitutional right. The fact that there are other sitting members that have received letters of threat from this new DOJ tells me that they are about retribution and they are not about following the law. The reason that our party, or I won't even say our party, our country is torn apart is because we can't even agree on right versus wrong. This should not be left versus right. The only thing that we're asking is that we have law enforcement that will show up when there is an actual crime. If somebody calls and says, hey, I need you to investigate this cyber crime, or I need you to investigate this child pornography, or I need you to investigate this robbery, then we want somebody to show up, and we don't want them to look at us and act as if just because I'm black or because I'm woman that I am not worthy of having that case investigated, because we have an administration that is continuously railing against diversity, equity, and inclusion, or we don't need people that show up that feel like diversity should not be valued. That is why we should have somebody that may show up and looks like me. The final thing that I'll say, because you've been gracious, is this. When I first became a public defender, I had no criminal defense experience. And I walked in and I told my boss, Charlie, I said, listen, you should hire me. He said, why? I said, because I'm black. Charlie looked at me like I was crazy. And I said, let me tell you something. When I walk in, I'm going to walk in with a level of rapport and understanding that maybe some of my other colleagues will not. Charlie offered me my job, and I worked my butt off, and I worked really, really hard for all of my clients, not just those that look like me, and that is what it looks like to serve. Thank you.
Man, talking about fire. You see how passionate she was when she spoke, and she made sure she said exactly what was on her mind. If we want to be great at what we do, take an example from Miss Crockett's playbook. When you're that passionate, having confidence comes natural. Make sure whatever you stand for, you actually believe it in your heart, so you too can have that confidence and fire like Jasmine Crockett. Be sure to throw up a like if you like this one, and I see you in the next one. Peace.